clouds that we see from this aircraft window look amazingly similar. And these ones looked at from below also display a similar scalar wave pattern. Now, this cloud that the meteorologists call a lenticular cloud is actually formed by a particularly high scalar energy associated with this mountain. This is Mount Fuji in Japan. Lenticular clouds are stationary lens-shaped clouds that form over particular mountains and do not move with the wind. Aircraft tend to avoid flying near these kinds of cloud because of the unusually high turbulence associated with them. This turbulence is evidence of a flow of scalar energy that is attempting to redress the imbalance in the energy field created by the mountain. Here we see lenticular clouds over Jefferson Mountain and over Lord Howe Island in New Zealand. Now here is a really interesting cloud, one that is hugging a military aircraft. What is revealing about this is that the aircraft is causing a disturbance to the energy field around it. Notice that the disturbed field is only on the top side of the aircraft. This aircraft obviously has wing design features that enable it to tap energy from the scalar energy field, or to extract what is known as free or zero-point energy. Have you noticed that the clouds do not blow off with the wind created by the aircraft, even though it is flying supersonic? We mentioned also that the lenticular clouds over the mountains also do not move with the wind. The cloud formations exist only within the disturbed energy space. This observed phenomenon provides a significantly different insight into how clouds are actually formed, as compared to what you were taught at school. This shows a similar cloud formation but associated with a very different type of aircraft. This is a military drone which travels at only 135 miles per hour. The energy field disturbance is surrounding a particular spot on the aircraft as a bubble cloud. The energy field disturbance is caused by powerful scalar wave devices that are on board the aircraft. The military obviously has extremely strong interest in scalar waves simply because of the infinite energy that is within the scalar energy field. As we said earlier, we are not talking atomic bomb energies here, but much, 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 much greater. At this point, I would like to mention something about the history of discovery associated with scalar wave energy. Scalar wave energy is not a recent discovery. It was first predicted by James Clerk Maxwell in the mid-1800s, when he succeeded in linking for the first time the apparently separate phenomena of electricity and magnetism through his famous Maxwell's equations. Just as all new ideas that threaten to shake up established thinking are resisted, so also was it with Maxwell. His equations were not readily accepted by the scientific establishment of the day, So, after his death, Oliver Heaviside replaced the electromagnetic potential field, or scalar field, by force fields, thereby reducing the original 20 equations down to the 4 equations that are taught in schools today as Maxwell's equations. The modifications were made to Maxwell's original equations simply because the scalar energy content was inconveniently too large as compared with the vector electromagnetic content. This meddling with Maxwell's equations has meant that most physicists and engineers who are not involved in scalar energy research are generally unfamiliar with scalar energy. First experimental demonstration of scalar waves and scalar energy dates back to 1905 and Nikola Tesla. Here you can see him sitting in front of a scalar antenna. This shows his magnifying transmitter generating millions of volts. The arcs are some 7 meters long. And this is a tower that he constructed as a wireless power transmission system, a scalar energy transmitter. So now let's examine a few more pictures of scalar wave patterns. Again, as a reminder, here is our computer simulated scalar wave pattern. And this is the sand under shallow water at the seashore. The sand is obviously acting according to phase-locked scalar waves. And here are sand waves over sand dunes in the desert. From this view from an aircraft window, we see mountain ranges that are arranged into similar scalar wave patterns, but obviously they are on a much bigger scale. This satellite view of a mountain range in Nevada shows an even bigger scalar wave pattern. Imagine, if you will, the energy that can create mountain ranges. But remember, we have already mentioned that the energy within every 1 cubic centimeter of space is beyond anything we can make meaningful comparison with. It is simply way off the energy measurement scale. Now this photograph shows that scalar waves are not a phenomenon local to Earth. This is Victoria crater on Mars. The pattern is very beautifully scalar. And here are scalar wave created dunes inside the Endurance crater, also on Mars. And here is a fingerprint. Do you realize the significance of this in how we might begin to view ourselves? Especially when we consider that every human has a uniquely different fingerprint pattern. And we also possess a uniqueness of spirit. But look at this, a fingerprint pattern within the Orion Nebula. Interestingly, NASA describes these waves as gravitational waves. So